But yeah, she's just so white, you know, just the whitest. And like my father is just the blackest man I've ever met in my entire life. So when people see our family, they're like, oh my God, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. A ghost and a shadow made love. I didn't even know they could do that, you know? Like, that's amazing. And here's the thing, it's true, like, there's a lot of, like, you know, there's a lot of racism when it comes to mixed race families. That's just part of it. And I experienced some of that as well. But the hardest thing for me, actually, was that in all of our family photos, somebody's poorly lit. Do you understand how hard that is as a child? Like, all of our family photos, we all felt amazing, we looked great, and then, like, you know, you'd look at the picture afterwards and everyone looks great, but my father's just eyes and teeth in the background. Just, like, you know, really trying to be in there. And then every year that's what happened, until one year they got it right, and you could see my proud father in the back just like, yeah! But, like, my mom looked like an apparition wandered into the frame. My dad is a black man, okay? He is very black. When I was like a kid, my dad was finishing his school, like his PhD, and so he wasn't around for some bits of time. And I had some friends who had never, ever met my father. So when he finally came home, my friends were like, oh my God, you have a black dad? Oh my God, you have a black dad? Is it true what they say? I was like, what? Are you asking me if my dad has a big dick? That's a weird question. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, look at him. Look how dark he is. Of course he does. Are you kidding me? It's huge, you guys. It's huge. We used to play jump rope with it on the weekends. Okay? Real big. Double Dutch if he was excited. I'm telling you, it was big. It was a big one, okay? Real big. But I think it's amazing. I'm like, my parents, like, they did suffer a lot of racism. My mom grew up in a small farming community in Canada with 190 people. She went to the big city and she met my father, who was a man who had just come from Nigeria. And at 19, my mom met my father, and 6 months later, they got married. And they are still married to this day. Isn't that amazing? Phenomenal. So I was like, I want to know what this love story is. I was like, Mama, tell me what the story is. How did you guys meet? She's like, okay, well, it's such a beautiful story. I was at university. I didn't know anybody, so I went down to the gymnasium by myself to practice badminton. I was like, what? She's like, yeah. And I was like, so you went down to the gymnasium, you got a racket, you set up a net, you got a birdie, you would hit it over, and then what, you just run around like, oh, good shot, Michelle. Like, pick it up every time? What's wrong? That's like a cry for help more than anything else. She's like, no. Then your father walked up, and he was wearing short shorts and long socks, and he had a big, girthy mustache. And we played badminton, and the next day we met at the quad, and then, you know, the rest is history. I was like, that's beautiful. And then a couple weeks ago when I was home, she's like, you know, I had a couple bottles of wine, and she goes, do you want to hear the real story? It's like, yes, I do, Michelle. Yes, I do. She's like, okay, so I was, you know, at university, and I went down to the gymnasium to play badminton by myself. I'm like, really? We're not changing this part of the story. We have a chance to change history, and we're keeping it. Okay. That's on you now. That's on you. She's like, no. And your daddy came up and we played, and the next day we were going to meet at quad, but we didn't have cell phones and the Facebooks and all these things. I couldn't, you know, take a picture of him, so I went to the quad, but I couldn't really remember what he looked like. I mean, I had never seen a black man before. So I went there and I saw a good-looking black man, so I took his hand and away I went. And I was like, whoa, that's horrible. Like, don't ever tell Dad that story. And he poked his head and he's like, it's okay, I was from Nigeria. I had never met a white woman. This one took my hand, I went with her. You know, I was like... I think there's still a white woman and a black man back in the day who think that they were supposed to be my parents and think they got stood up, and I got stuck with these racist idiots instead.